Hi everyone, I'm here together with Rory, who will tell you and me about how can AI help us. I also heard that there will be an interesting demo. Hello, Rory. Nice to see you.
Hello, Jakob. Tell me if that's the correct pronunciation. I'm so super excited. This is my second time speaking at your incredible conference. And this time I'm bringing a few other tools. Last time I spoke on accessibility. Now we've got AI and accessibility. So I'm really excited to show you some of the latest and greatest cutting edge technologies.
Perfect. So the virtual stage is yours and your AI.
Thanks so much. Okay, so you should all see my screen, and the topic is AI accessibility and 1.6 billion people. And I like using this number because it shocks people into understanding what Microsoft and the responsibility Microsoft has. There are 1.6 billion Windows users out there, and we've just pushed AI to a lot of them with Copilot. And this is a journey about how myself, I work in developer relations for Microsoft, and my journey started 10 years ago in developer relations and has always been part of accessibility. I have achondroplasia, dwarfism, so I'm quite short. And as a result, I've always kind of felt an obligation to help and also go in and advocate on accessibility. You can see here, this is me speaking at a university, and here is me trying to get some coffee. And this is an idea that I have on bolt-on. You see, accessibility, if you don't plan ahead, is you have to go in and retrofit it. The problem with that is you give birth to something called the Hydra. It's a mythical creature that when you chop one of its heads off, another one grows up. And we've seen this with software. If you try to fix a bug in production later on, what happens is that bug is very difficult and it will create more bugs. And accessibility is very similar because if you try to fix a bug a little bit later on, here you can see here they're trying to, they didn't get the angle right there, and they had a fail there trying to create an accessible ramp. So that's the problem and the history behind the problem with accessibility. We are at a stage now that AI is just taking off. You can see here, ChatGPT took 5 days to hit a million users. I think we're on like 100 million users right now. And there's so many people who say, it's useless or it's bad for humanity. Some people say it's good for humanity, and some people say it's capable. You know, AI will take our jobs, amplifies fake news, AI will enslave us. But I choose rather to believe that there are some very useful applications and it unlocks new human potential. And the reason behind that is there is trillions of dollars worth of revenue that is packed into AI. You can see here, this is the generative AI spend. And by 2032, we're going to have $1.3 trillion, but only 12% of total technology spend. So people might not take full advantage of it. And we believe that in 3 years' time, anything that is not connected to AI will be considered broken or invisible. That's how confident we are with AI. Now, as an accessibility advocate, I also understand that we need to go in and look what was the history behind accessibility. We know that bolt-on can give birth to the Hydra, but what's happening now with AI? So I took a graph here. This is the web aim, and this is the complexity of web pages that have the top 1 million websites. So if they took WebAIM took the top 1 million websites and said, okay, what is the complexity of those websites? And you can see here, websites are becoming more complicated. And then WebAIM gave one more graph around, wait a second, 96% of all of those million websites are not accessible. So even with AI, we're looking at this, which is, here's the accessibility, and we're not really seeing year on year accessibility being fixed. The hardware is still living. We're not chopping the hardware's heads off or killing the body to make it easier. And there are only really 5 or 6 main accessibility issues here. These are the home pages with the most common Web Center for Accessibility Guidelines failures, low contrast text, missing alternative text, empty links, missing form labels, empty buttons, and missing document language. That's most of the issues. So how are we going to do this? We're pushing Copilot to billions of people. How do we do that? Well, Microsoft has an accessibility mission. And in that mission, we train our staff on accessibility and we hire accessible staff. We add resources and training. I'm going to give you the link a little bit later on for the accessibility fundamentals. We also engage with the United Nations and other stakeholders that really help us amplify accessibility. We manage it like a business. If there's a customer and he needs our help, we'll say we can also help them with accessibility. And then we log that as an accessibility business. And finally, technology solutions. We have a wide, varied selection of technology solutions. And this talk today is focusing on those technology solutions. Now, what do we currently have in technology solutions? We already have accessibility rules, and I'm going to show you now what that means. Accessibility support and authoring with Visual Studio Code, and we can also detect and report accessibility violations. But what about recommended the fixes? And what about merge the fix PRs? So for design, we have the Web Center for Accessibility Guidelines. For development, we have VSCode and the Axe linter, which I'm going to show you in the demo. For test and report, we have Accessibility Insights, which is an automated tool that Microsoft uses to test their own accessibility and is open sourced. What about analyze and recommend and remediate and automate? We don't have anything for that because those are very difficult. Analyze and recommend and remediate and automate. Accessibility also requires you to understand the context of the page and the fields in relation to other fields. So how are we going to save the world? And this is an opportunity for me to introduce you to, okay, not this bot. This is the old robot. We're not going to talk about her. This is one of the robots that existed before we didn't create mitigation layers. In AI, we now have the model, we have a safety system, we have application, and we have positioning. And that gives us the ability to create an experience for accessibility beyond our expectations. So I went on to ChatGPT and I said, please explain in 5 bullet points of 5 words or less how ChatGPT can test accessible apps. And it says, can simulate user interactions, identify accessibility issues, automate repetitive tasks, validate code compliance, and generate test reports. That's exactly what we want. Now, we want to use ChatGPT though, but how do we do it? How do we use it? How do we get ChatGPT to be like the world's greatest intern, which is what AI really is? So we built a prototype system called AliBot. You can go to https://aks.ms/ali-AI. And what this does is something miraculous. First of all, you've got your HTML file. Remember, there's millions of HTML files just sitting there that we need to scan on bulk. So we're going to scan that HTML file. We're going to automate it. We're going to chuck it into Playwright. Playwright can use Chrome or Edge. It's going to bring up a browser. It's going to simulate the user's interaction. And then every time it finds an issue with the accessibility, it's going to chunk that code and it's going to push it to the Axe tools. That's Accessibility Insight. So the Axe tools is the rules engine with Accessibility Insight. Then from that report, it's going to take that report and it's going to tell our little intern there, hey, can you suggest a fix? Can you fix this? Can you fix this HTML for us? And then it's going to go through and fix that HTML. All the time, running this in GitHub Actions to make sure that we never give birth to the hardware again. So that's everything I wanted to show you in slides. It's an exciting demo I've got up here. And I've got 3 real sections I'm going to show you. We're living in an analog world. I'm going to show you what exists right now. We're analog beings living in a digital world. I'm going to show you how to fix it with our tools. And then finally, in a quantum future, I'm going to show you how to utilize AI to fix this automatically. So let's get out of PowerPoint here. And I'm going to show you first Visual Studio Code, and then we're going to go into the Ali bot here. So the first thing I want to show you, and this demo is just going to knock your socks off. So I've got a test HTML page here. I'm going to delete that because live demos are always best if there's a chance for failure. So now in the test.html here, I'm going to go into GitHub Copilot chat here, and I'm going to take a little script there that says, please create, let's just restart that right now. Please create a HTML file with WCAG issues, with accessibility issues. The file should have low contrast text, missing alt text for images, missing landmarks, improper use of headings, and missing ARIA attributes. The file should be intentionally created to demonstrate common WCAG issues that can be presented in an HTML file. So I have to tell GitHub Copilot that to be a little bit mean, because else if you don't, it's not going to let you, because we locked it down with safety nets, and we want to make sure that it doesn't do anything mean. So I'm going to ask you to generate that, and then I'm going to get something to fix those accessibilities. Here it is. Remember, this is a live demo with the bot here. So now I've got this page here, and we can see already that there's some issues here. So let me remove that there here. And if I go into the page and I right click in there, I go reveal in File Explorer, and I open up that page, you see there it looks pretty simple. But look at that text, that's terrible. And that image alt doesn't have it in there. Now I can test this. I can test this page and get the issues. I can go into the Chrome or Edge add-on called Accessibility Insights for Web, and I can go, hey, FastPass, go tell me what the issues are. Color contrast is wrong, image alt is wrong. We asked for a lot of other issues. Remember what we generated. Where's the ARIA attributes, the divs and everything? Because this only checks 25% of most of the issues. And you can go in there and you can specify, and you can say, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. You can even log an issue. You can file the issues over there. And you can even go to tab stops. There's a lot more issues around here. But what you've seen already, it's missed out some of the settings here. So what do I do? So I want to go back to Visual Studio, and I can see there that there's an issue there, and it's underlined. Now what I've got, the same rules engine that I just did with Accessibility Insights, it's called Xlinter. It's an extension. And it says that, oh, wait, there needs to be an alt image here. And you can quick fix it. So quick fix, and you can go explain using Copilot. And Copilot will say, okay, cool, what do you need to do? The alt image, and it'll tell you how to do that, and how to run the Xlinter. But it also, you can just select that, and you can go right click there. You can go Copilot, and you can go fix this. And you can go fix, add a alt image, alt text. Cool, and we're going to go accept. I think, let's try that again there. We're going to go Copilot there, and we're going to go fix this, and we're going to go fix and accept that. Okay, sometimes it does give me a little bit of issues here. Let's actually go and ask it for all of it though. So I'm going to go fix the accessibility issues, and let's go here, and I'm going to give it there, and let's see what it actually fixes here. Here you can do it. Oh, there we go. Add the alt image there, use the appropriate landmarks to provide the divs here, and it will go through and go as sort. And it's giving me the entire thing H2 around that. And I can go in and fix all of that. But it's manual. You know, it's sometimes developers don't want to do too much manual around that though. So how do I get around that? Now, what I want to do is I want to go into, let's close that there. into Azure OpenAI. Remember what did I wanted to show you? I showed you how to test it with analog. You can go in and test it and create reports. Then I showed you how to use GitHub Copilot to go generate it and also go in and fix it. And finally, I'm going to show you, if I go into my chat playground with Azure OpenAI, I've got a chat session here, and I've said, hey, GPT-4, please fix this issue, and I've given it that. So can it help me with that? And we've selected here, and it says the accessibility issues, yeah, I can fix it. So I need to chunk that code, and then once I chunk that code, then find all the issues there using Playwright. Now we've got a tool for that, and that is the LA bot. So you can go to aka.ms/LEAI, and what that does, it starts a Chrome browser or a Playwright using Chrome browser or Edge, and it goes in and chunks all of those issues that we found, the alt text, the divs, all of that, and it goes in and you can just run it as a command. So let's go back into here. Let's go terminal, new terminal, and now I've got my test file here, and this is where, you know, things sometimes get a little bit south if it doesn't fix it, but I'm going to go li, so let's just go cd test and cd fixtures. So I'm going to go li ai, I want to go lowercase a, and then I'm going to say, hey, fix, and we want the test.html. Now it's going to fixing the issues in test.html, but it's going to give me back all the searches it found for that. And how it does that, it goes in and scans it with Playwright, finds all the issues, calls my OpenAI service, and then says, bring it back and fix the HTML for this person. Now that's great. Now can you imagine doing this on those million sites? This is what we're doing right now. We're demoing and prototyping. So let's go accept the issue here. Let's go yes. In the moment of truth here, I'm going to go scan this again. Now if I scan this again in my test, look, it already fixed the contrast. And now we're going to go fast pass. Done. Now you can do this to millions of sites for our billions of users. So let's go back into our PowerPoint. We want to go slideshow from current slide. Just make that a little bit smaller so I can see my colleagues here. We're analog beings in a digital world facing a quantum future. You can see how powerful AI is just with fixing accessibility. We're running this against millions of websites right now at Microsoft. So in no more than 3 years, anything that is not connected to AI will be considered broken and invisible. And my call to action for you before we end up and take questions, get the badge. Go to aka.ms/accessibility fundamentals. Follow me on Twitter at Rory Preddy, and you'll get the badge there and you'll learn about everything and the tools that I mentioned to you today and how to actually utilize that. Okay, so back to you, Jacob. If we got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yes, I'm just checking, but we have no questions right now. But I have a question for you, because you show us that the developer doesn't need to know the technology. Indeed, I think that this is my opinion. And when do you think there will be a days when we will need an AI engineer instead of developer in our companies?
So right now, one of the hottest trends is prompt engineering. And most of my talks that I've done, I'm an advocate and I do public speaking and I travel around the world speaking on AI, is on AI. But what you notice today is that I didn't speak just on AI. I spoke on AI helping me solve a problem on accessibility. The same with healthcare, manufacturing, finance, development. We've got GitHub Copilot for programming. Your AI is your intern. It's there to help you get into the flow. What is development flow? We recently surveyed hundreds of GitHub developers, and we said to them, GitHub Copilot chat, does it help you in the flow? And they said 90% of them said yes. They're already starting to use it and get into the flow though. If you wanted to create an HTML site, what I didn't show you there is with GitHub Copilot chat, you can just go / create workspace, and you can say a React app for to-dos, for tasks. And it's just about getting into the flow. It's almost like a kata, a martial arts kata, that you get in there. And if you've ever programmed in the zone, in the flow, you understand that that's an area of focus, a beautiful area of focus that you really want though. We see this as unlocking human potential and creativity and being able to help developers get into the flow.
Very nice view. And we have a question from a chat. So the question is, are you testing fixes with people with different types of disabilities?
So WCAG takes 4 principles. It takes, can you see it? Can you operate it? Can you understand it? And then also the technology can't break. Those are the 4 core principles of WCAG, the Web Center for Accessibility Guidelines. In that, it covers autism, visual and auditory, and also neurodiverse. So if you adhere to that, and also even colorblind, you kind of cater for everything, but there's a human touch. And that's why I also said the staff that you hire should be also hired with accessibility requirements. So we hire for accessibility. We say, hey, we have an accessibility team. And in that, they're HTML programmers. Do you have any experience with accessibility? Yes, I'm visually impaired. Or like myself, I'm actually have a condition called dwarfism. And I help them understand because I've got skin in the game. So definitely we cater for as much as we can. And at the same time, we use AI to scan those millions of websites to look for exactly what we can do, even more, go above and beyond what people expect.
Thank you very much for this point of view, fresh for me. Thank you very much. We have no other questions. This is a wonderful session from your side. Thank you, and I wonder we will touch somewhere in the real world.
Get the badge, Jacob, next year.
Yeah.
You and I, we can discuss about getting the badge, aka.ms/accessibility fundamentals. Thank you, everyone. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you on the Twitter sphere. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.